Hey, yo, what's up, too? We got another great video for you guys. In this video, I'm going to be dropping my top 10 sleepers. I know everybody's been dropping their sleepers right before the season. I'm kind of late, but some of my sleepers are kind of different. Now, some of the sleepers could be way off or they could be spot on, but, you know, at this point in the season, everything is speculation, especially since before week 1. The only thing we have is a few off-season acquisitions, the draft, and basically the last results of the Super Bowl and from last year. Like, there's nothing else we can go off of besides camp. I mean, there's not too much. You know, a lot of things that people speculate on or they so sure about it's not even true because, like I said, it's speculation before week 1. Like, that's what makes this fun, though. You know, everybody got their own opinions and predictions, and everybody wants to be right. I do too. But starting off with the first, you know, my last video I covered the draft, but I couldn't cover each player in depth analysis because that video was already 30 minutes, and if I had to cover each player in depth, especially the sleepers, the video would have been an hour long. But starting off with my first sleepers, and these sleepers don't have no order. I'm gonna go with Jonnu Smith. Now, I know he's been, you know, in social media a lot lately, as far as a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is a sleeper, this is a sleeper." But people got to keep in mind that Jonnu Smith is on the 12 offense, and 2 tight ends will be ran while he's on the field. And statistically for fantasy, that is not great at all because the ball is being split. Not to mention the other receivers on the field too as well. That was a problem with Tyler Higbee in situations like that. And the thing is, I hate that they took 2 great tight ends for fantasy and put them on the same team. Like, that's why we don't have too many great tight ends as a fantasy option now. Hunter Henry is injured right now. I'm not sure if he's playing week 1. I have to look into it. But the thing is, Jonnu Smith might light up the fantasy board and points early, but what happens when Hunter Henry comes back? You know, or what happens when another tight end steps in behind Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith doesn't see the production that he should have? You know, that's what I was thinking about. Now, if he wasn't in the 12 offense, well, maybe things change with Mac Jones in there. I highly doubt it. You know, I don't know. It's a wait and see. It's like I said, it's a lot of I don't knows. You know, but I've never seen a tight end perform, you know, great from a fantasy standpoint when they're running a 12 offense. That's like Blake Jarwin and Schultz, Goddard and Ertz, Higbee and Everett. Now Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Like, if you go look at the stats, they may have some great games because they got to get red zone touches, but they're going to be touchdown dependent, and you don't want that. You want a tight end with a high volume that gets a lot of touches, like Travis Kelce and Andrews, Waller, and you know all those tight ends. I don't want to get too much into that. Moving on to the next one. My next sleeper is actually another tight end. It's Tyler Higbee. I know it feels like an emotional roller coaster riding with Higbee, but the thing is I don't think it's too much of his fault. At the end of last season, well, the end of 19 season, he went off for 5 straight 100-yard games, and he turned a lot of heads entering last season. And the thing is, people don't realize a lot. Some people didn't know that Gerald Everett, like I said, they run 12 offense in Los Angeles. Like most of the time whenever they on the field. And the thing is, Tyler Higbee splits a lot of touches with Gerald Everett, and it's really, really aggravating from a fantasy standpoint because people could clearly see how great this man is. Now, look at the last 5 games he had of the 19 season. And then they come right back into 20, and Sean McVay goes right back to the 12 offense. And I guess it had maybe something to do with maybe Jared Goff too, but Tyler Higbee should have a lot more touches. And when he's been ranting raved through the media, you know, the waiver claims go up. Like, his projected points was like 18 plus last year because of what he did. That's how great and how strong he finished the season. And then it took after week 1, and everybody was like, well, what happened? I'm like, I mean, and I was trying to explain to a lot of people that Higbee is not going to see the same success he had toward the end of the season. As much as I wanted him to, I knew he wouldn't because, you know, look at the type of offense he's in. I think his first, if I could look at it, where is it? Well, for whatever reason, I can't find it. But you can see right here, he only had 5 touchdowns, 44 receptions, 521 yards. His first game was terrible. And I think, but either week 2 or 3, he went off. He had like 20-plus points, and he hit the waiver wire again. But the thing was, he had 3 touchdowns that game, but he didn't have too many receptions. Like I said, he's a touchdown-dependent tight end. But now they have Matthew Stafford. Now Gerald Everett is now with the Seahawks. So a lot of things are looking upwards for Tyler Higbee, and I really believe he's going to have a great season. I'm not just saying it because he's on my team. I really, truly, he was one of those sleeper picks I wanted to stay on the draft board for a while, and he actually did, and I was able to snag him. So we'll see how that goes and see if this proves. The next sleeper pick that's kind of flying under the radar because he didn't have as much success as I thought he would last season is Robert Anderson. Nah, if you didn't know, Robert Anderson and Sam Darnold did play in New York together with the Jets, and now that Robert Anderson got traded to or signed to Carolina, and now Sam Darnold has been traded to Carolina, they have that same chemistry going. And chemistry is a big deal in football. It's not one of those things that's overrated or that's like Owen Smith chemistry is a huge thing in football. That's what allows certain receivers to get more touches than others. And now I'm hearing Robert Anderson's name more in his offense than DJ Moore, and DJ Moore is actually the number one wide receiver. And I had Robert Anderson last year, but I think I had him a year too early. You know, things didn't really pan out how I thought it would with Teddy B. I mean, he did have 1,000, almost 1,100 yards, but he only had 3 touchdowns, and I believe 2 of those touchdowns maybe came in week 1 against the Raiders. I believe that's the correct game. But I know Teddy B did check the ball down a lot. I'm surprised to see that, you know, Robert Anderson did have almost 1,100 yards, but he did catch the ball a lot. He had 95 receptions, but it still didn't pan out how I thought it would. I thought his numbers were going to be a lot bigger. This year, I think, is that year for that. I'm looking at least maybe 1,300 yards. But the thing is, I'm looking for way more touchdowns. You know, at least up to 7 touchdowns, maybe 1,300 yards. Like a big jump. That don't seem like it's a lot, but as far as fantasy, that's a big jump in stats every week. And that's a lot of points you can get every week. You know, I love him as a player. He's fast, he's reliable, and he's durable. He's not one of those questionable. He don't have a questionable tag, and you don't have to wait 30 minutes before a game being nervous. You're trying to see if he's going to play or not. You know, so I really believe he's going to turn up this year. I wish I would have grabbed him. I wish he would have stayed on the board, but of course he wouldn't. But that's just how it is. That's where the chips fell. But I'm really looking forward to seeing him have a great season, even though I don't have him, you know. So, yeah. The next sleeper pick, well, he's not even a sleeper pick anymore because everybody's been ranting and raving about him, is I'm going to go roll with Brandon Cooks. And the thing is, Brandon Cooks was pretty much the only reliable pass catcher on the roster until Anthony Miller was traded from the Bears. And the thing is, it's weird how I'm not hearing Anthony Miller's name too much, considering he was a great compliment to Allen Robinson. I'm going to get into him next. I'm going to kind of cover these two at the same time. Brandon Cooks can be basically the diamond. You know, you heard of diamond in the rough. He could be the diamond in the trash can. That's how bad I feel like the Texans is going to be. As long as Tyrod Taylor can get this man at least maybe 10 targets a game, I feel like he's going to be, I don't want to go too far, but I feel like a top 10 receiver as far as fantasy, because who else is going to catch the football? I mean, you got 30 people in the backfield, and you got, 2 receivers? So, at this point, I mean, who cares how the team performs? As long as the player you have is putting up fantasy points, that's all that matters, because that's what's contributing to your win, your personal fantasy win. And he's now rostered on 96.3% on NFL fantasy leagues. That is a huge jump to what it was maybe a week and a half ago. I mean, people are really buying into the hype, and why not? But the crazy thing is, I'm not hearing Anthony Miller's name too much, which is really, really weird to me, considering, like I said, he was a great compliment to Allen Robinson. And okay, I understand now. I had no idea Anthony Miller was hurt. He dislocated his shoulder apparently last month. But even before that, I wasn't really hearing his name too much. Or maybe that's why we're starting to hear Brandon Cooks' name a lot, was it dislocated his shoulder. So right now, I'm looking for the immediate success of Brandon Cooks. I don't care if they lose him by 50. I feel like this man is going to have at least 15 a week, because the targets is going to be there. There's nobody to take the target from him. And well, now he's the only reliable receiver on the field. He should be great. Now, some of his targets may go down just a tad bit whenever Anthony Miller gets healthy, but like I said, that's speculation until, you know, he actually does get healthy. So we'll see then. And the next sleeper that I feel like that's going to have an outstanding season is Marquez Callaway. What he did in the preseason game, like I stated in my last video with Jameis Winston, was not a mistake. Because you could see flashes of that last year when Drew Brees was at quarterback. And I feel like he's gotten a lot better over the offseason. And he could actually go get that deep ball with Jameis Winston's arm. That's a huge difference in his offense. If you got him working on the opposite side or complimenting Michael Thomas, that's going to be a beautiful offense. It's going to probably be the best offense they've had in the past few years. Even when Drew Brees was. I hate to say that, but it's a different offense where you could throw deep. Let's just be honest. That's just how the NFL is. He's on the roster right now on 39.3% fantasy rosters, NFL fantasy rosters, so he's not rostered too high, so you might go snag him. Considering Michael Thomas is out till about week 6 or week 7, but depending on the success of the Saints, he could be out longer, because usually when a team is performing well, a player tends to sit out maybe a week or 2 longer after that. Just depending on, and if they're struggling, they tend to come back the week they come off of IR, which really is kind of scary because they can get re-injured. And that's what he did last year with that ankle. But if Callaway could perform well alongside Tre'Quan Smith and Kamara carrying, I feel like he can be that target that he can get Michael Thomas targets that he had 2 years ago. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, he's Michael Thomas, because he's not Michael Thomas. He's Marquez Callaway, you know. But I feel like since he's the only big, reliable receiver that's actually stepped up and that's actually proven true, he can get those targets every game. And, of course, Kamara going to do his thing. And Maybe Marquez Kellogg can keep some of the heat off of Kamara, or maybe Kamara can keep some of the heat off of him. We'll see. Because like I said, they have a totally different quarterback back there. But if Jameis Winston could take care of the football, I don't see why he wouldn't have a great, at least great first 7 games. Even when Michael Thomas come back, he should still play great. But we have to see that because, like I said, it's speculation. The next sleeper I got up and a player that I'm really excited about and upset that I don't have is Logan Thomas. I mean, he's not too much a sleeper now. He was probably a week ago. He's rostered in 94% of NFL fantasy leagues. He's a tight end that really came on in the Washington offense. He had 100+ targets last year. And I'm really expecting him to perform better. Considering I know they did get Curtis Samuel, I know they have Terry McLaurin, they have McKissick, they have Antonio Gibson. I'm really expecting him to get the same amount of targets. That's how reliable he is and how much of a threat he is in the red zone. And with Fitzpatrick at quarterback, there's going to be a little bit more consistency. And if Fitzpatrick can stay consistent in the offense, everybody's going to get a lot of targets. McLaurin's probably going to lead. Of course, he's wide receiver 1. But I feel like Logan Thomas is going to be right behind him. That's how reliable he is and how great of a pass catcher he is. And there's no threat of another tight end on that offense, which I completely love. He was going to be my dark horse tight end, but he did get picking up. I feel like he's going to have a great season, and I feel like he's going to fill up the waiver wire quickly. And he's going to be rostered in about 98% of leagues within a few weeks. So if he's available, I will go snag him, The next sleeper on the list that a lot of people might not consider a sleeper is Corey Davis. He is only rostered in about like 79% of NFL fantasy leagues. I think it's actually lower than that. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, he performed good. He performed great last year. He had a little under 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns as a compliment to A.J. Brown. It was sad to see him go, but Julio Jones is in the offense now, and what else would you do, He's reportedly building up a great rapport with Zach Wilson. But the thing is, I'm considering him a sleeper simply because of the fact that he's going to the New York Jets and he's performing under a rookie quarterback. So this kind of allows Corey Davis to fly under the radar a little bit. Like, if you look at him compared to Logan Thomas, he's rostered way less just for simple comparison reasons, I feel like he's going to be somebody that light up the stat sheet as far as targets. I mean, who knows if they win games, but like I said, it doesn't matter. As long as your player getting the targets and the points, that's all that matters as far as fantasy because it's a personal win. If he performs as he did with Tennessee, I feel like he's going to do great. But like I said, a lot of this does fall on the quarterback, so we have to just wait and see. It's a big I don't know, like I always say for me. And the next sleeper pick that honestly just upsets me every year because I feel like the Bills' offense is amazing, but they are literally one tight end away from literally killing the entire league, and it's Dawson Knox. I mean, I've had Dawson Knox last year and the year before, and I usually just hold him on my bench, But I feel like he could be the next sleeper or the greatest sleeper if Dawson Knox takes the next step. I know they just let go Jacob Hollister and he just signed to the Jaguars, so maybe there was a reason that happened. Maybe Dawson Knox is that tight end now. This is basically biased speculation for me right now, but I really want him to see. I want to see him take the next step. I want to see him get 7-8 targets a game. I want to see him get targeted more in the red zone. But a lot of that maybe falls on him, or it just falls in the offense. I mean, think about it: Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, Dawson Knox, and the disaster between Singletary and Zach Moss in the backfield. I'm only calling him a sleeper because I want to see him take the next step, and I believe that if people hold him on the bench and he does take the next step, you got a great sleeper pick for the year. But if he doesn't do anything, you can drop him back to the waiver wire. Simple. But we just have to see how they go because he has not been living up to expectations at all. And then it was really weird to see them let go Jacob Hollister considering that he hasn't. So the next sleeper pick that has I had no idea he was rostered this high. He's on 87% on NFL fantasy leagues. And he actually did have an update yesterday. It says Vic Fangio expressed confidence in Williams on Monday, saying we're not at all against playing him in any situation, any time of the game. Now, the reason why Javonte Williams turned my head before I even knew who he was, he's a rookie this year, second round rookie. The reason he turned my head simply because of the fact that Philip Lindsay was traded. And right after that, a couple weeks ago, Royce Freeman was cut. And for the past couple of years, those have been the two backs that have caused trouble in the backfield for Melvin Gordon. And it was weird seeing them two let go and to see them rely so heavily in the rookie. So maybe they truly believe in this rookie. I mean, they have no other choice considering they let the other two running backs go, which is really weird. And I'm not expecting them for 28 Melvin Gordon in this last year of his contract to be the bell cow of this offense. I'm just not seeing that. That just doesn't sit right with me. That don't seem right. So I feel like they're getting ready to hand the torch off to the next big running back, and I feel like they're going to sign another back behind Javonte Williams next year. Maybe they trust that much in a rookie, but the thing is, I would just hold him on my bench to see what he does. I mean, he could be the running back. He could be the Austin Eckler to the Denver Broncos. You know, he could be that next man up behind Melvin Gordon. And a lot of people just don't see it yet. Because I know good and well I missed out on Austin Eckler, what that was 2 years ago. Because I didn't buy into the hype. But maybe this, I don't want to compare him to Austin Eckler, but maybe he's in that same situation to where he's going to be, you know, he's not going to start the season off, maybe get most of the carries. He does have a great pass catching ability, but over time, I feel like he's going to get more and more and more reps, and before you know, he's going to be too late because he's going to be rostered on somebody else's team. I mean, right now, he's rostered at 87% right now, which is extremely high, and I did not expect that. And I'm calling this man a sleeper, but apparently not. So apparently, I was the only one sleeping on him. But yeah, I'm really hoping that pans out because I did pick him up a couple days ago because he was on the waiver wire. So we'll see what's up, you know. And the last and completely biased and my favorite sleeper this year is A.J. Dillon. Right before the playoffs last year, Green Bay played Tennessee. You all probably know that. And the stat sheet, he lit the stat sheet up. He had 20-plus touches for 100-plus yards and 2 touchdowns. This man went completely off. I was on the game playing Madden, and I could not keep my eyes off the TV. You know, it makes me wonder why in the world did they keep this man on the sideline for so long, even though they had Jamal Williams. That's like keeping a Lamborghini in the garage his entire life. I don't understand. But they did let Jamal Williams go for a reason. So I'm expecting A.J. Dillon to carve out a huge role, especially with running the football. And considering Aaron Jones does get dinged up a little bit each year, they might just use him for maybe outside zones and maybe just catching the football. But A.J. Dillon can catch the football too, so maybe they might use it for the bruiser work, which means A.J. Dillon getting all the red zone touches, all the short yardage touches. And simply, if Green Bay could play ahead like they did last year a lot, and their team only got a lot better as far as defense as well too, when a team is allowed to play from ahead a lot, they can run the ball more, which means that A.J. Dillon will get a lot more carries. I mean, I was looking at the stat sheet. I'm trying to figure out what changed from week 1 all the way down to whatever it was, week 15, week 14 when they played Tennessee. I mean, he was really killing them in the snow. Like, I was watching the highlights the other day. I was like, it's amazing. Now, I know it's completely biased because I'm a Green Bay fan, but the facts is there. Jamal Williams is gone. And I believe they got Tyler Irvin behind them, and he doesn't really he gets in every once in a while, but it's going to be the Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon show. And if the rest of my sleepers going to be totally off and totally wrong, but if this one is true, it'll make my entire year because I am holding him, and I'm going to hold him the entire year until I really just cannot hold him anymore, you know, if he just doesn't do anything. But I really think week 1, he's going to show up because against that Saints front, I don't see Aaron Jones running too much against that. I don't. And like I said, Green Bay want to have him over the course of the entire year because he does get dinged up. And you don't have Jamal Williams as that next pass catching back out the backfield anymore. You don't. I believe Tyler Irvin is there, but you want somebody a little bit more reliable. I'm not calling him unreliable. I'm just saying he's only rostered in about 63% of the leagues. I'm surprised it's kind of low considering he is supposed to work in tandem with Aaron Jones. So if you don't grab anybody else on my list, I will go grab A.J. Dillon and just hold him. If you don't prove by week 5 you don't do anything, drop him. You can say I was wrong. Tell me in the comment section, all that. But I really cannot wait to see him play Sunday. Really can't. So that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you enjoyed my sleepers and my sleeper picks and everything. Some might, like I said, some might be off, some might be spot on. Leave a comment in the section if I even missed anything, or if you have somebody that you believe will sleep on your team. Hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the last one. Subscribe if you're new or you have been watching. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next video, which should be tomorrow. And I'm going to be giving you guys my game picks as far as how I feel about Tampa Bay and the game of the week in my fantasy league and the game of the week in my fantasy league and the different matchups and different fantasy matchups and who I think is going to win that Thursday night game, you know, and because that's going to be a great game, I believe, and I'm just hoping and praying they shoot it out. But yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to catch y'all next one. Y'all stay safe and peace.